Hello, and welcome to day 2 of 21 Days to Solstice. I am C.Rhalena Renee, spiritual teacher and healer, and I'm so happy you joined me on this journey that we are taking for the next 20 days, this journey into our own inner light to ignite the feminine within and prepare us in the new year to help heal and transform our world. So today, the feminine principle I'd really like to explore is this principle of wholeness, of connected wholeness. And really this principle is about acknowledging that the whole is made up of many parts, and every single part of the whole is significant, actually vital. Another way to say that is, if we're here, we're needed, and so are the gifts that we bring. The whole is diminished if any of the parts are diminished. And when we diminish our role in the community, we diminish the community. And also if we diminish aspects of ourself, whether it's the feminine or the masculine, or our creativity, or our childlike heart, or whatever it is, when we diminish that, we diminish ourselves, and then we also diminish the community. So I welcome you into this teaching, and through this teaching, I'm going to share a story about Amaterasu, who is a sun goddess. And I love the idea of the sun goddess. In most cultures, the sun is really more masculine presence. So this is a more uncommon presentation. And as we are talking about the feminine, I thought it was lovely. And as we're moving towards solstice, sun goddess seems totally appropriate. The first time I heard this story, I was at a time in my life where I really wanted to stretch. I felt this need to expand, to explore my gifts in a new way, and to offer them more powerfully into the world. But I really was afraid. I tried this before, and some of the people closest to me were really upset, some of them even angry. And so I pulled back. I made myself small. And here I was again, really wanting to burst through this cocoon and fearing that I wouldn't do it well, or that I was risking my relationships. And I really, really wanted to step out, but I was hesitating. And so Amaterasu came to me in this story to share this teaching. So Amaterasu lives in a small village, and she's very much part of the village life. She is a member of the village. She celebrates births with them. She honors the ancestors. She harvests and plants rice with them, and is really very much a part of the community. And she is unaware of her own light. She's unaware that she is a sun goddess. She has no idea because the sun has always been a part of her, so she can't necessarily recognize it. But her brother recognizes it. He doesn't miss it at all. And her light and her beauty and the power with which she shines, he doesn't feel he can live up to it. And so he doesn't try. And so instead of being part of the village, he tends to separate himself from the village. And he criticizes Amaterasu a lot. Amaterasu loves her brother dearly, and she kind of lets him get away with his behavior. But one day he goes too far. And earlier in this day, Amaterasu and the village had gathered, and they had spent the day joyfully and tenderly planting in the rice paddies all the new sprouts, one by one, filling the field. And they finished it all, and they anticipated the harvest that would get them through the winter. And they all went to bed happy and proud of their accomplishment. Brother did not participate. Brother was down the road drinking with friends. Amaterasu the next morning rises and again is just feeling that happiness and that joy in their accomplishment. And she decides that she's going to go out early and bless the fields. She opens her door and she looks out and she sees her brother passed out next to the field, covered in mud. And she sees that he has trampled through the newly planted rice paddies and that he has gathered those tender plants and thrown them at her house. Now, in the past, what he's done has hurt her, but he's really never done anything that hurt the village. Until now. And Amaterasu just cannot have this. And so she decides that if she is causing him so much pain that he would do such a thing, that she will leave the village. For she cannot have this harm happen to all of them. And so she takes off up into the mountains, and she finds a cave that her father had took them to when they were small children. And she goes into the cave, and she rolls a big boulder across the mouth of the cave. And as she does this, she has no idea that she has just blotted out the light and blotted out the sun. She does not know that her actions will harm her people. She does not know that the crops die. She does not know that without the sun, her people get sick and grow hungry. And she does not realize the hole she has left in their hearts, in the heart of the village. Brother knows. And brother is really quite sorry. And he goes to bed after months, and he prays. He prays for a way to help the village. He prays for a way to make up for what he has done. And that night, the ancestors send him a dream. And in the dream, his father has taken him and his sister up the mountains and to this cave. And he wakes up the next morning, certain that he knows where Amaterasu is. And he runs down to the center of the village, and he calls all the people together, and he tells them, I know where Amaterasu is. And for the first time, hope rises in their hearts for the first time since she left. And they're all talking about who should go get her and what kind of celebration they'll have. And then they ask, how will we get her to return? And so they think about it, and they talk about it. And then one small girl whispers, Amaterasu loves a party. A party. She's right. She loves a party. Let's all go up. We'll dance and we'll sing and we'll take our instruments and we will have a party and we'll entice her out of the cave. And so as they're gathering things and making plans, the elder sits there. This will not be enough. Amaterasu doesn't understand. She doesn't understand what she brings us. If she understood, she would not have left us. We need a way for her to see who she is. And the elder suggests they bring a mirror along. So they all tread up the mountain path all the way up to the cave. And they light a fire and they begin to sing and dance. And Amaterasu, in her cave, hears this light singing and dancing. And it reminds her of what she's missing. It reminds her that she longs to be part of the community, to be part of the whole. She decides to roll the boulder aside just enough so she can really hear what's going on, because, she doesn't really know what it is. And so she does. She rolls the boulder, and just the tiniest slit, and she can hear the music coming in. And the village people see the light immediately as it bursts forth through this sliver in the cave mouth. And on hearing some familiar voices, Amaterasu's longing grows. And she decides, I can peek out. So she rolls the boulder aside. And as she begins to do this, the elder directs everyone to put the mirror so that it faces the mouth of the cave. And as Amaterasu peeks out, she's blinded by the light of her own reflection. She had no idea. So she rolls the boulder further aside and she goes out and she greets the people and they greet her and they tell her of all that has happened since she's left them. And she's stunned by the loss they experienced. She's tearful. And she makes them this promise to never leave them again, to never withhold her light or her gifts from the people again. She makes this vow, and Brother promises to help her keep it. This is a powerful wisdom story for me, and it comes to me at all those places where it's ready to take a new leap, where I'm being called into something new or called into being more visible in the world. Whatever it is, whatever that call is, and as I'm teetering and hesitating, can I do this? Is it too much? The story of Amaterasu will pop in my mind, and her mirror shines, and she reminds me of my part of the whole, and she calls me to offer my gifts and to offer them freely, to offer them in a way that just comes from my heart and shines. And I invite you to do this. I invite you to spend some time today, maybe the next couple of days, maybe even longer, really looking at what is it that wants to shine within you, what light would like to be fanned, and how would you like to offer that to the community. I'd also like to invite you to notice others who might be teetering and invite you to be their mirror, to be Amaterasu's mirror to them, to encourage them, to see their light, to welcome it, and to remember that we are all part of the whole, and if we diminish ourselves in any way, if we hold ourselves back, we are holding the community back. I hope this story is helpful for you. I hope it touches you and gives you some time for reflection. I have a somewhat expanded version of the story on the blog post that I will list on the bottom of this video for you. And also invite you to like my Facebook page, where you can have some conversation with others, and where all of these videos and blog posts will be added so that you can go to one place for them. So with that, I will leave you today, and I will see you tomorrow for day 3 of the 21 days of Solstice. Blessings to each of you.